Let us talk about the red card. For over 120 million people across North America, the little piece of plastic, isn't just a membership. It is a passport to a land where everything is bigger, everything is better, and everything is supposedly cheaper. We walk through those massive sliding doors and something strange happens to our brains. Psychologists call it the halo effect. Because Costco offers us a massive delicious hot dog and soda for $1.50, a price that hasn't changed since 1985, we subconsciously decide that every single thing under that warehouse roof must be a steal. We trust the Kirkland signature logo more than we trust our own family members. We see a 3-pound jar of artichoke hearts or a gallon of mayonnaise and we think to ourselves that we are winning. We think we are outsmarting the system. But here is the cold, hard truth that most people are ready to hear. Costco is a masterclass in the loss leader strategy. They lose money on those rotisserie chickens and those hot dogs specifically to lure you into the center store aisles where the real traps are laid out. We call this the bulk bias. It is a neurological glitch that makes you believe buying 48 of something you do not actually need is a better financial move than buying one of something you do. This video is about stripping away that Kirkland halo. We have spent months analyzing consumer data, scraping massive community forums, and looking at the nutritional chemistry of their most popular items. We aren't just looking at what tastes bad because taste is subjective. We are looking at what is objectively a bad deal. We are ranking the foods that fail the Costco promise. These are the items that are stealing your money, ruining your health, and drawing in the back of your fridge as we speak. The $1.50 hot dog is the hook that leads you straight into a $500 mistake. If you want to keep your membership worth it, you need to know which landmines to avoid. The first category of items you should never put in your cart is what I call the false value trap. This is where the math of buying in bulk falls apart because of basic biology. The Costco business model is built on incredibly high inventory turnover, but once that product enters your home, the clock starts ticking. For these specific items, that clock is a time bomb. Let us start with the most common offender, which is the multi-pack bag salad kits. On paper, it looks like a dream. You get 2 giant bags of salad for the price of one tiny bag at a regular grocery store. But you have probably noticed that these bags seem to turn into a bag of green swamp water within 48 hours of getting them home. There is a scientific reason for this. Bag salads have a very high respiration rate. When you pack that much volume into a single plastic bag, moisture gets trapped inside. Even with modified atmosphere packaging, the sheer weight of the greens at the bottom of a Costco-sized bag causes bruising. Bruised leaves release enzymes that accelerate decay and turn the full bag into a slimy mess. According to USDA estimates, the average American family throws away nearly $1,500 worth of food every year. When you buy a 2-pound bag of salad and throw away the last 40% because it is flying, your price per ounce actually jumps to 30% higher than if you had just bought a fresh, smaller jar of lettuce at a local grocer. You aren't saving money. You are just paying Costco to manage your trash. Next up is a controversial one, which is the Kirkland signature ground beef. Specifically, I am talking about the 10-pound chub of ground beef. It looks like a giant meat log and the price per pound looks unbeatable. But there is a reason professional chefs steer clear of these bulk gack chubs. When beef is packed in those massive airtight tubes, it is often undone under extremely high pressure. This compresses the muscle fibers and leads to a rubbery, dense texture once you cook it. Furthermore, there is the fat ratio illusion. Because it is produced in such a massive batch, the consistency of the 80-20 or 90-10 lean to fat ratio is often less precise than the meat you find in the smaller trays that are browned in store. Once you open a 10-pound log of meat, you have exposed the entire surface area to oxygen. Unless you are prepared to portion, vacuum seal, and freeze that meat immediately, you are inviting rapid bacterial growth. Most people don't do that. Then by day 3, the deal has a great into a smell that screams food poisoning. Then we have the massive tubs of hummus and fresh dips. Have you ever bought that 30-ounce tub of Kirkland hummus or spinach artichoke dip with the best of intentions? By week 2, it is still half full and there is a weird watery layer on top. To make a dip shelf stable enough to survive in a giant vat, manufacturers often have to tweak the formula. This usually involves higher levels of potassium sorbate or sodium benzo to prevent mold. These preservatives don't just keep it fresh. They change the mouthfeel and often leave a slightly metallic or bitter aftertaste that you simply do not find in smaller, premium brands. If you aren't hosting a party of 20 people tonight, that bulk dip is a trap. You will eat a quarter of it, get flavor fatigue, and watch the rest become a science experiment in the back of your refrigerator. Bulk isn't a bargain if it ends up in the bin. This leads us to a section that hurts a lot of people. We all have those holy grail Costco items that we renew our membership for every year. But over the last few years, a shadow has fallen over the Kirkland brand. It is called Reformation Alley. In an effort to maintain those low prices during record inflation, Costco has been quietly swapping ingredients, and the community has definitely noticed. It is the centerpiece of the entire store, but recently the community has begun to revolt. Thousands of longtime fans have started reporting a distinct Corey Norm metallic aftertaste. This is not your imagination. It is the supply chain. Costco opened a massive $500 million poultry processing plant in Nebraska to control their own supply and keep the price at $5. While this kept the price steady, it changed the processing. Many consumers point to the air chilling process, where the specific saline injection solution used to keep the birds moist under the heat lamps. We have also seen an increase in reports of woody breast, which is a metabolic condition in fast-growing chickens that makes the meat tough and fibrous. When you are buying a chicken that has been bred so fast and processed so efficiently that it tastes like a lab experiment, is it really a deal? Or are you just eating $5 worth of salted industrial farming? We also have to talk about the food court. For years, the churro was the king of a budget dessert. It was $1 and it was iconic. Then Costco pulled the plug and replaced it with a $2.49 chocolate chip cookie. On the surface, it is just a cookie. But if you look at the data, this cookie is served warm and contains over 750 calories and nearly 40 grams of fat. This isn't a snack. It is a caloric tactical nuke. More importantly, it represents a shift in philosophy. They moved from a high labor, low cost item like the churro to a thawed baked item with a huge price increase. They are betting that you are so used to the value of the food court that you won't notice they just tripled the price for a product you could buy in the bakery section for a fraction of the cost. But it is lost in the lab. When the ingredients change, the signature brand becomes a warning label. Even the non-food items like the Kirkland signature dishwasher pods have fallen victim to this. For a decade, these were the gold standard. They were widely believed to be the same as name brand products. But recently, the formula changed and member complaints have pointed to a new issue called chromatin touching. The new formula is reportedly so abrasive or lacks specific buffering agents that it is leaving a permanent cloudy film on glassware that cannot be washed off. Costco finds a winning formula waits for us to become addicted to the price point, and then tweaks the chemicals to save a fraction of a cent per unit. You might save $5 on the detergent, but you will spend $500 replacing your ruined wine glasses. If there is one place where the bulk bias becomes genuinely dangerous, labels. Costco doesn't just sell you food. They sell you industrial scale comfort. When you buy a tray of food designed to feed a family of eight, your brain loses its ability to calculate portion distortion. We start seeing these massive containers as a single unit of consumption. This is how the hidden killers of the warehouse get you. Let us look at the Kirkland signature muffins. They are sold in mix and match 6 packs, and you are forced to buy 2. That is 12 muffins that look like a wholesome breakfast. Here is the reality. One single muffin weighs about 170 grams and contains up to 750 calories with nearly 50 grams of sugar. To put that into perspective, a standard glazed undot has about 10 grams of sugar. Eating one Costco muffin is nutritionally equivalent to eating nearly 4 donuts for breakfast. When you buy 12 of these, you are buying breakfast. You are buying 9,000 calories of cake because of the bulk packaging. These muffins often sit on your counter for days. To combat this, the recipe is engineered with high levels of oil and emulsifiers to keep them moist. This creates a high glycemic load that spikes your insulin and triggers a massive crash that leaves you craving more sugar. It is a biological trap disguised as a bargain. Next, we have the deli section, specifically the chicken street tacos and the mac and cheese. These are the ultimate easy meals for a busy night. But there is a reason they taste so consistently bold. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day for an adult. A single serving of the Costco mac and cheese contains about 950 milligrams. One single taco from the street taco kit clocks in at over 800 milligrams because of the pre-marinated chicken and the salt-heavy crema. If you eat 3 of those tiny tacos, you have consumed over 100% of your daily salt allowance in one sitting. Over time, this bulk sodium intake leads to water retention and high blood pressure. They use sodium as a structural ingredient to mask the fact that the base ingredients are often the leftovers from other departments. We also have to remember the historical flops like the Kirkland Signature Light Beer. It was a 48-pack for $22, which was the ultimate deal for a party. But it failed because even Costco members have a limit. Consumer reviews describe the taste as liquid cardboard or battery acid. This is a perfect example of the budget floor. To hit that 50-cent perk and price point, the brewing process was so rushed and the ingredients so cheap that it tasted like a chemical byproduct. Costco doesn't sell portions. And your heart is not designed to process a volume of sodium or sugar in a single sitting. To be a truly smart member, you have to understand how private labeling works in the warehouse. Kirkland Signature doesn't have its own factories for everything. They partner with big brands and put their own label on it. But there is a game of whack-a-mole happening. Not every Kirkland item is a top-tier copy of a premium brand. Some are Tier 3 budget versions where the quality is significantly lower. Take the frozen grass-fed beef patties. You see grass-fed and you think it is healthy. But these are often ground into a paste before they are frozen. When you cook them, the fat renders out instantly and you are left with a pocket of meat that has the texture of wet felt. They hit the buzzword of grass-fed, but they fail the actual experience of eating a burger. Then there are the Kirkland Signature Nut Bars, which look exactly like the name brand version, but the binder that holds the nuts together is different. Kirkland often uses a fire ratio of rice syrup and fiber that becomes rock hard when temperature cycled in a warehouse. We have seen so many reports of people literally chipping their teeth on these bars. They are a lazy copy that prioritizes shelf life over the soft texture of the original. We also see this in the sushi programs at many locations. It almost always ranks as one of the worst foods in the store because of a process called retrogradation. Sushi rice is a delicate balance of starch and vinegar. To sit in an open-air refrigerated taste, the sushi must be kept at a temperature that causes the rice starches to crystallize and harden. You end up with crunchy, flavorless rice and fish that has been refrigeration burned. It is a logistical mismatch. The warehouse model is too cold and too slow for the delicate chemistry of sushi rice. We have spent this entire video tearing down some of the biggest icons in the warehouse. We have looked at the soggy salads, the chemical chickens, and the sugar-laden muffins. It is easy to walk away feeling like the Costco dream is a lie, but that is not the case. Costco is a tool, and like any powerful tool, if you do not know how to use it, you are going to get hurt. This list isn't a reason to cancel your membership. It is a manual for your intentionality as a consumer. To master the warehouse, you need a new manifesto. First, you must use the unit price rule. Never look at the big number on the sign. Always look at the tiny price per ounce or price per count of the corner of the shelf tag. Then take 2 seconds to check your phone. If a local grocery store has a sale on that item, The Costco bulk pack is almost always a loss for you. Second, you need to use the 72-hour rule. If it is a fresh item and you cannot realistically eat 80% of it in 72 hours, you should put it back. You aren't saving money on a $10 bag of spinach if for dollars of it turns into liquid in your fridge. You are just subsidizing the store's waste. Finally, you must perform an ingredient audit. Do not let the Kirkland logo blind you to the reality of what you are putting in your body. Read the back of the package. If the second ingredient is sugar or the sodium is over 800 milligrams, it is not a deal. It is a health tax that you will pay later in life. We live in a world that tries to convince us every single day that more equals better. We are told that a fuller carb means a fuller life. But the truth is that the most valuable things you have are things that cannot be found in a 40-week pack. Your health, your time, and your peace of mind are the only things that do not stale in bulk. When you stand in that massive warehouse surrounded by mountains of goods and thousands of people, you need to remember that the smartest person in that checkout line isn't the one with the fullest cart. It is the person who knew exactly what to leave on the shelf. You do not owe Costco your loyalty just because you paid a membership fee. You owe your family and your future self the wisdom to distinguish between a bargain and a trap. Next time you are walking toward those sliding doors, take a breath. Look past the $1.50 hot dog. Look past the halo of the brand. Shop with your eyes open and your intent clear. Costco is a temple of consumption, but your home is a sanctuary. Do not bring the warehouse's mistakes into your kitchen. The best way to save at Costco is to know when to say no. When you learn to leave the bad deals behind, you finally start getting the value you were promised. It is about quality over quantity and wisdom over impulse. Make your membership work for you rather than you working for your membership. What is the one item you always regret buying at Costco? Let us know in the comments and help someone else avoid the same mistake.